We're going to make it even more complicated. We're going to add in more visualizations and more things to consider whilst we're doing this. Now, I keep referencing facing east and then facing south and so on. Let me give you some additional pieces to how this corresponds. The different cardinal directions, north, south, east and west, correspond to the elements. Now, for purposes of our practice here, we're just going to go with earth, air, fire and water. And each one has a particular direction. Now, there's various tricks you can do to make this easy to remember. East is air. East is air. If we come around this way, south is fire. Behind, if I would go this way to the west is water, and then to the north is earth. Now these are the classic alchemical elements. They don't mean the physical thing, although we're going to use those things in our visualizations. Here's what I recommend you do in order to start to memorize these things and make them really easy. Because if you're like me and you have to go never eat shredded wheat and then you don't actually know which way to face, just do this. Get 4 pieces of paper, put one on the floor that says east, put one behind you that says west, east, west. One over there that says south, one over there that says north. Or if you like, just put one piece of paper and each side write those words. East, west, south, north. It's really easy. Repetition, it becomes very familiar. And you could do this. We'll start to put in some color correspondences. So east is going to be yellow and bright blue, azure blue, sort of sky pale blue, yellow. Yellow and blue, yellow. Get a big piece of yellow paper, stick it on that wall to the east. South is red. Get a red piece of paper, stick it on that wall. West behind, blue. Sea blue. Put a blue piece of paper over there, and to the north it's going to be black, olive green, russet brown, basically earthy colours. Stick that kind of colour stuff over there. Now what I'm going to do is when I look to the east, I'm going to visualise everything being that kind of colour scheme, yellow and bluish. The south, everything's going to be red. To the west, everything's going to be blue, shades of blue. To the north, it's all going to be earthy colours. These are the visualizations that I'm having at the same time. These correspond to the elements. The east is air, fire, water, earth. Air, fire, water, earth. In that sequence, going around in a clockwise way. So now with the visualizations as well, this starts to get easy. So, to the east, not only am I going to visualize everything in yellow, I'm going to feel wind coming at me. I'm going to see what I would associate with the element of air. To the south, I'm going to visualize, guess what? Fire, flames, stuff. Easy, right? To the west, I'm going to see flowing water, waterfalls and oceans and rivers and water, wet stuff, water. To the north, I'm going to see trees and valleys and mountains and countryside. These are the visualizations that I have whenever I'm working magically and I'm working with elements. These are what I'm seeing in each of the cardinal directions, outside of the circle. So very easy to visualize. Takes a lot of practice. The easiest way to practice is just to simply put those color pieces of paper on there. You can even write the words on there if you want, and put memory prompts to remind yourself of what you're going to visualize. Let's go through it again. To the east is air, yellow. South is fire. West, water, it's blue. To the north is earth, therefore it's earthy stuff. Put colour paper up, write the symbols on there. Now, if you really wanted to get precise, you could start to put in the precise symbols as well. And I'll show you on one of the handouts here. I'll put the elemental symbols on there. For the practice of the banishing rituals, or the pentagram rituals, we don't need to know those earth and air fire signs, but they're useful if you're getting further into magic and you need the annotations that come with that. They're basically little triangles with lines through or not, as an abbreviation. Now, each of these elements has a set of associations. So, air is classically representative of the intellect, is the mind, it's thought, it's problem solving, it's dynamic thinking, consciousness. Over there. So the south, this is about will, determination, desire, the fire in your belly that makes you do stuff. It's will. Water is about emotions and creativity, reproduction, fertility, that kind of stuff. It's water, it's fluid, it's creative, the creative flow. And to the north, this is about the physical world. It's about money and manifestation and physical health, the body, that kind of stuff. So we have basically thought, will, creativity, body. And then all of the things that can be attributed to those quarters. Essentially, the entire universe could be divided into categories that would fit into these areas. And these are the tetragrammaton, those four-letter name of God, are also associated with each of these elements. So it makes up the sum totality of everything that's in existence. So now, these are the visualizations that I have. So when I'm drawing a pentagram over here to the east, not only have I got the pentagram being visualized, I've got all of those things internally visualized, I'm also seeing the element of air in its alchemical way. I'm feeling a breeze. I'm thinking consciously of intellect and thought. To the south, I'm seeing flames and red and fire and will. That's where my experience goes. It's will, it's dynamic action. It's about creativity. So I've got water and flow, and I'm now concentrating and experiencing the creativity of the universe and of myself. And to the north is the physical manifestation. So again, now these are where my conscious awareness goes to with each of these quarters. So these are additional visualizations to put on top. In the next video, I'm going to give you something else to add on top of that. So now, for now, practice those visualizations as well. Start drawing them. Draw them out on a piece of paper. Color them in. It might sound a bit childish to get out those coloring pencils or the felt tip pens or even crayons, whatever you've got. By the way, I have learned for art materials, go to the children's section in the art shop. You get exactly the same stuff at a fraction of the price. A little handy hint for you. But start building up representations of that. Trying to remember something is very difficult when there's so much to remember. But by taking each piece and outputting those learnings and committing it to a creative process, it becomes much easier now to remember it because you've done it. So relying on recall in order to learn this material, I think, is inferior to getting out the crayons and actually colouring in and stuff like that. Don't worry about the quality of art, that's not really important here. So practice that for now. In the next video, I'm going to give you another piece.